All right, this will be my gavel for tonight. I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's actually officially 6:01. That clock continues to mystify. It has been our custom to start our meetings with what we have termed a mission moment. At times we have used this to invite a local leader of a faith-based group to start our meeting. We have also used this time to showcase words from our community. So I'm going to start with our community, and then I will introduce our pumpkin-giving guest. And forgive me, the glasses have to come off to read little text. We are excited to work with several partners in the community. The YMCA is one of them, so we actually send them money that they then grant on to families in need. And this was a quote sent to us by the Y recently. As a single father of two, the Y has been an incredible source of support for my family through their child care programs. I always feel confident when I drop my children off at the Y, they are safe, well cared for, and truly loved. Until now, I had only experienced the Y through its child care services. I'd never been a member myself. I'm excited for the opportunity to finally use and enjoy the Y together as a family. My son has asked me in the past to work out with him, and now we can do that together. I'm also really looking forward to taking my daughter swimming or spending time in the intergen room playing games. That's for teens. We're so grateful to have received this membership provided thanks to Milton Township's support of the Y. It's a gift that allows us to experience all the wonderful things the YMCA has to offer together as a family. So that was kind of a fun story. And so I have the joy of introducing the very Reverend George D. Smith from St. Michael's Episcopal Church in Glen, Ellyn. We've asked you to give us some words of guidance at our start.
We're happy to do that. And so it's, you said it's an honor for you to invite me. It's an honor to be here. And it's St. Mark's.
Excuse me.
So I do, as part of an invocation, I think there's an introduction too. So my name is George Smith. I am a resident of Glen, Ellyn. And I've been in Glen, Ellyn for over 19 years because I was called to serve as what we call the rector of St. Mark's. So St. Mark's was founded in 1897, so we've been around a little bit. And you all have pumpkins here from our pumpkin patch. So this is our 19th annual pumpkin patch. And interestingly, the pumpkins come from New Mexico, not from Illinois, which is the top growing pumpkin state in the country. So, but that's okay, because they come from New Mexico, where they're grown on Native American land. And so they provide an economic benefit, and they then they go all over the country to places like St. Mark's, where we sell pumpkins. And so St. Mark's sells these pumpkins to raise funds for DuPage pads. And in 19 years, we've raised over $140,000 for DuPage pads. So it's a significant fundraiser, but it also does more than just raise money for pads. It's a community builder. And I want to mention, like St. Mark's is not a mega church, and some of you may belong to mega churches, and that's great. But we are not a mega church; we are local. And so being local means we really listen and we serve our local community. We are bilingual. We are a community that's really open 7 days a week. I feel like we're the New York City of churches. We never sleep, it seems. So here, as your invocation person, I'm reminding you that the township, your township is, or you as a board, it could be said, is entering a new chapter, right? And because elections have brought new leadership, and you are, who is new on the board here? Raise your hand. Okay, all of you. Think about that. I mean, I think that's profound, and I know that, I just want to comment that I received this newsletter recently, and I do get these newsletters, and I read them, and I applaud you for so much information in there. So thank you for that. And I would add one thing, is that I think a lot of people are confused about what a township is. Would anybody agree with that? I mean, I think, as I said, township is perhaps considered the most local type of government, right? And because you're accessible to the people, and then you can respond, hopefully, with efficiency and direction. And that is really, really valuable. So whether townships will continue to exist in the future or not, I don't know, but I do value the localness of this body of government, and I think that's so important, just like St. Mark's is local. So I do think that in your newsletter you might spend some time talking about what is a township? who exactly do we serve? I'm not sure that's said in there. It's Glen, Ellyn, it's Wheaton, and it's a few other neighboring communities. Is that right? But not everybody knows that, right? So I feel like sometimes going to the 101 is really, really helpful. So anyway, thank you. And so let me start my message and my invocation. So let us pause for a moment to reflect on your work and all of our work as stewards of this community. I call upon you and all of us to encourage one another. Use your talents to learn and to grow in wisdom. Open your minds to new ideas and to feedback. Remember the ongoing nature of the human condition, which is broken but also beautiful. Tap into the virtues of patience, courage, listening, and humility. Know that the well-being of our community is something that we all work on together. And to end this invocation, I want to thank you for your service. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and all those who are able and willing would like to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Drew, could you start us off on this one?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk Bailey, if you'd like to take attendance.
Okay. Supervisor Higgins-Beard.
Here.
Trustee Siemer.
Here.
Trustee McGowen.
Here.
Trustee Pitts.
Here.
Trustee McGrath.
Here.
Clerk Bailey here. So here.
Thank you. We'll consider the approval of the agenda. I need a motion to consider the agenda first.
So moved.
And a second.
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting on September 18th. A motion to consider.
I motion.
You made it first. Larry Pitts. Trustee Pitts. A second.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. We also need an approval of the claims for this week. If I could have a first.
I move to approve the claims.
Thank you. A second.
I second.
Any discussion? This was a very low volume week. If I remember correctly, we totaled just under $350,000 in bills. I'm sorry, I don't have that exact number. There were not a lot of large projects over in highway which helped, or a lot of spending. Any discussion? Okay, that is a roll call vote, is it not? Roll call?
Okay. Trustee McGrath.
Yes.
Okay. Trustee McGowan.
Yes.
Trustee Siemer.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Trustee Pitts.
Yes.
And Supervisor Higgins-Beard.
I say yes. Aye. All right. Next is our public comment. We do have a list in the back if anyone signed up. It's limited to 3 minutes per person. First come, first serve. If you'd like to approach the podium, we will allot a full 30 minutes to hear from the community. And if you didn't sign up and you're really motivated to speak for your 3 minutes, yes,
The only one that signed up.
that's okay. We
So I
welcome
get the 30 minutes, right?
the 3 minutes. Thank you, though.
Hi, my name is Jack Shoba. I'm from St. Charles. I'm a teacher and a photographer and a conservationist. I'm currently on the board of directors of the Friends of Illinois Nature Preserves. My concern here is to talk about the St. Stephen's Cemetery. Some of you are new here and probably don't remember passing a resolution thanking me for helping burn or something 20, 30 years ago. I don't know. But I hadn't visited the cemetery in quite a while, and it's in really sad shape. And so I have the plant list from the 1960s, and it's amazing with all the native plants. And then I have a list from 1981, and it's still amazing. And I went out the other day and started a new one, and it's not the best time of year to make a list. And I didn't see any of the spring flowers, but I have like 8 things or something. I mean, it's really gone downhill, and I'm not sure why. Part of my being here is to find out why and how one goes about volunteering. I have some other people on the cemetery board. It's probably the people I need to see, but they don't meet till January apparently. So I need to know who to talk to, and I visited with a couple other conservationists, and it's really mostly all tall goldenrod. It's really in sad shape. Now I've been working for 4.5 years at a different saint, St. John in Darien, and that was in really sad shape also, and we've been working on it for 4.5 years, and it's pretty well recovered. It'll never be what it once was, but we've been working like weekly for 4.5 years with 5 to 10 people, so it's a big deal to try to get it back once it goes downhill. So that's why I'm here, to just learn about it, to acquaint you with the fact that it really needs help, and to say there are people who really don't want to see it die. So that's.
This isn't designed back and forth, but I'll tell you later in the agenda there's a cemetery commission report.
Yeah, I'm going to wait.
Yes, please do.
I saw that, so I'm going to wait for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Moving on to the chair's report. We are saying goodbye to 2 very important staff and volunteers tonight. The first that I'm going to call upon is Charles Smith. I'm going to read a proclamation about Chuck. Then we're going to invite you to come up. The whole board's going to shuffle out, and we're going to take a picture in this awkward room. If we move the slides ahead a bit, so there should be some photos there on green sheets. Keep going. Keep going. So we are thanking today Chuck and Arnie Smith. Schifrin. Chuck Smith, Arnie Schifrin. If you go to the next slide. Our proclamation. Whereas Charles Smith has been a dedicated volunteer and staff of Milton Township for over 8 years. Whereas Chuck, as he's better known, has served as the chair for the Seniors and Law Enforcement Together Council during that tenure for Milton Township. Whereas Chuck has brought his organizational skills, can-do attitude, and conviction that someone should stand with seniors with him daily. Whereas in being community connected, Chuck has taken SALT on the road, offering community speeches and tabling, organized high-quality programming with speakers monthly, and greatly expanded the senior auto inspection 4-fold to help 100 seniors annually. Whereas being intricately connected to Milton Township's betterment, Chuck has served in leadership positions for the Doodlebug Workshop, Milton Township Republican Party, Meals on Wheels, and is a past named Wheaton Citizen of the Year, bringing all these connections into the township. Whereas Chuck has brought alongside him his wife of 23 years. Did I get that right? Oh, I will redo it. Paula, known for her Excel prowess, clerical support, and provision of fellowship at meetings. Whereas in supporting SALT, Chuck has served as its 3rd chair in its 28-year history, starting as a part of the DuPage County Sheriff's offices. Whereas Chuck has announced his retirement after 8 years of dedicated service, and then, as his final salvo, created the most organized senior auto inspection to date. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, Milton Township recognizes this senior advocate for his lengthy leadership, the breadth of lives he's impacted with their safety increased, and the numerous connections he's established. In so recognizing, this body proclaims its gratitude and celebration of Charles Smith. Come on up, Chuck.
Thank you very much.
It's an honor, truly. So we've got a couple things you and I are going to hold, and then I will bring the whole board out.
Could you all go out that way because
Yeah.
That's for you too.
We don't want to jinx it.
So let's let Lucinda take a picture, just the 2 of us, and then we'll get the whole group.
Ready, Couple more. Okay, so eyes open, that's great.
All right, and the full group, come on out, trustees, and I know this is awkward. Chuck will get a chance to talk during his report too, so we're gonna ask for comments then. You coming, Paula?
I'm gone.
I'm there.
Where should we go? Right here.
Just a moment, one. Thank you. Does everybody else have their pictures?
Thank you, we'll share this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, you can go into these two. I will hang on to this and change that. Okay. 30 years, Paula.
Change that.
I know. All right. Our proclamation for Arnold Schifrin is different, although they have worked very closely together. Whereas Arnold Schifrin has been a dedicated volunteer for the Seniors and Law Enforcement Council Together Council of Milton Township for over 15 years, whereas Arnie, as he's better known, has served as the Director of Communications for the Seniors and Law Enforcement Together Council during his tenure for Milton Township, whereas Arnie has brought his warmth, wry humor, and strong belief in the dignity of seniors, as well as tenacity with him daily. Whereas in being community connected, Arnie's expanded SALT's reach and information through Milton Township via community talks, scam reports, newsletter contributions, public presentations, and community tabling events. Whereas being intricately connected to Milton Township's betterment, Arnie has served in key positions for the Village Theater Guild and the Village of Glendale Coffee with a Cop program and other community-based organizations, bringing these connections into the township. Whereas in supporting SALT, Arnie has melded his pharmaceutical training, penchant for detail, strong belief that no one should prey upon others, and his researching zeal. Whereas Arnie has announced his retirement after 15 years of dedicated service, and then quietly told me after he rests up, he might be back. Now therefore be it proclaimed, Milton Township recognizes the servant leader for his lengthy service, leadership, and the breadth of lives he's impacted with their safety increased. In so recognizing, this body proclaims its gratitude and celebration of Arnold Schifrin on October 16th. Come on up, sir. The reason I stared you up, that's the nice thing. You got to the right side. All right, a picture of us with these together, sir. Very nice. You don't like stuff like this, do you? Come on over, folks.
Not used to it.
Yeah, same spot. Places.
Together.
Together.
Oh, if we have Regis as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I managed to not get any mistakes. I don't think any of but tell me. All right.
Thank you, Arnie. My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for all your support. Thank you.
All right, so I'll keep going with my report then. I'm going to steal a little thunder from Chuck's. If we go to the next slide. Next slide after this one. We will be welcoming a new chair, and Chuck will say more, but retired officer Terry Albright is in the room, and we're really excited she'll be running the Seniors and Law Enforcement Together Council. She might even bring a dog every once in a while to a meeting, which is exciting. All right, now if you go back to the earlier slides. Work has continued in all the work streams that I've been reporting in past meetings. Oh, there we go. We continue to work on facilities. We continue to work on finances. And we've got some program and services and community outreach activities. The biggest highlights I'll give you later. Go one more, Dan. A lot of work in the audit area going on. I'll say some more later. We've also spent some significant time on that newsletter that was complimented earlier, as well as some storage in the last month. So those are our big highlights. I'm trying to slide less and less. There we go. If you go to the next slide, general assistance, the table helped with grant, and there's good detail. But I wanted to surrender some of my time to Chair Drew Ellis. Figured a guy who can talk about gravestones might be appropriate. So he's going to give us some updates from the Cemetery Commission, and afterwards that will be the end of my report.
Start now?
Go ahead.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, we talk about the three cemeteries. So we'll start with St. Stephen's. The big thing that we did put a new flag out. So we're good with the flag. The garden is gone. So and that was done by the Archdiocese. And I would give credit to Supervisor Higgins-Beard for really working hard to create a collaborative environment with the Archdiocese. So, and we're, the other thing about St. Stephen's, and we'll talk about the prairie, because I'm not sure that everybody knows, but that piece of prairie is the last original piece of prairie in DuPage County. And it's important, it's very significant. We have talked about a burn. There's a burn that's scheduled for the spring. And it will be done appropriately with the appropriate permits and with a appropriate person that understands the ins and outs of the burn. In terms of what you're talking about the native plants, I'm not an expert on this. This is not my area of expertise, but I will tell you, we would welcome your involvement. Anybody that understands that, and I don't, although I don't understand all the different plants and how the prairie works, I know from a historical perspective, it's important that we preserve that. And like I say, the last piece of prairie left in all of DuPage County. So that's the St. Stephen's. In terms of, let's see, what's the other one?
Pleasant Hill?
Pleasant Hill, thank you. Pleasant Hill, we've seen a lot of changes with Pleasant Hill, and I give a lot of credit to Drew and his team in terms of removing both the fence and the shed. And it's a long time coming, and I'm thrilled. And the vision of the board and Supervisor Higgins-Beard to turn this cemetery to more of a park setting, park-like setting, is truly a really incredible thing. So, and again, we just want to continue what we're doing with that site. The last one is Jewel Grove. Jewel Grove with 2 L's. We have a lot of things going on with Jewel Grove. Number one, we are in the process of trying to obtain a grant from the state of Illinois for cemeteries that need work. Jewel Grove needs some work, primarily in terms of some of the trees, and it hasn't had a good cleanup and a good tree trimming for many years. So we have talked to a couple of different tree people in terms of plans and ideas for how to maintain the forest-like setting. kind of remove some of the less than desirable trees and tree upstarts, and just kind of maintain that site. That is the cemetery commission met last week, and we talked about some ideas for that site. We've talked about some overseeding on the parkway, because that little stretch of land is kind of unsightly the way it is, and it needs some attention. Again, I would say of all the sites, I would say the Jewel Grove needs the most attention. And again, based on Supervisor Higgins-Beard's insight and her belief of the importance of this site, I think we are well on our way to making some of the improvements that we're working on. And again, it's not me. We have a commission. We're trying to add some additional people. Mike, I would give a shout out to Mike Zaffron, who's not here, who works tirelessly for the events that we do. And again, we're always looking to add more people that share, the township's vision for maintaining and preserving these sites. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Chair Ellis. All right, we'll move on to further reports. Clerk Bailey, do you have a report?
I do. It'll be really short. You like that? I'm just happy that we're getting the recordings of meetings up on the website. What we ran on was improving transparency, and we're working on that, and it's coming along. More can be done. I'll stop with that.
Thank you. Trustees reports. We'll start with Trustee McGowen.
Well, I have a few things to say this month. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to share some updates of the DuPage County's proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year. That's presented by Chair Deb Conroy. Chair Conroy proposed a DuPage County Sustainable Initiative totaling $18.1 million. First, the food security. The plan includes $3.1 million to purchase food for local food pantries and community programs, with the board determining where those funds will be going. Another $2.5 million would support Loaves and Fishes Community Services in Naperville with its Hub 2.0 expansion. This project will add much-needed warehouse and cold storage space to help food pantries across the county to keep up with the growing demand. Chair Conroy noted that cuts into federal nutrition programs like SNAP will be a local food assistance, makes food local assistance more important than ever. And this investment will help make sure that nobody in DuPage will go hungry. The second, she gave $5 million to use to launch down payments for assistance programs for first home buyers. $5 million. The third thing is a $2.5 million will be set aside to support county programs that might face reductions if the state or federal cuts occur. The county board is expected to vote on the final budget on November 25th. In closing, Chair Conroy stressed that this plan represents both sound fiscal management and a commitment to caring for the people of DuPage County, ensuring we will remain strong, sustainable, and ready to meet all the challenges ahead from the government. The second thing I'd like to bring out, I said nothing last month.
I remember.
Now I'm going to make up for it. Concerns the food pantry report. Over the past several months, I had the opportunity to closely observe the work being performed by Dave, Debbie, and the volunteers of the food pantry. Their care and concern for the individual people we serve is truly unmatched. Time again, they go above and beyond to make sure that each neighbor who comes through these doors are treated with dignity, compassion, and respect. In addition to their personal dedication, Dave and Debbie had worked diligently to expand the variety of food items available to this community. Through their efforts, we now regularly provide fresh milk, eggs, as well as a variety of meats, items that are critically important to meeting the nutritional needs of our neighbors in need. These improvements represent a significant step forward in the quality and value of the services that we provide at Milton Township. I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank Dave and Debbie for their extraordinary hard work and dedication to both the food pantry and the people we serve. Their efforts are making a real difference in the lives of the most vulnerable members of our community. The importance of the food pantry cannot be overstated. For many individuals and families, it serves as a vital lifeline, providing not only food, but also hope, stability, and a sense of care from our community. What happens here impacts the real lives of meaningful ways, and the pantry remains one of the most essential services that we can offer in Milton Township. That said, I must draw attention to the challenges of our pantry that we currently face. The food pantry continues to operate out of a very small and limited space in this building. This restricted environment makes it difficult for employees and volunteers to perform their work efficiently, and it also creates challenges for the clients who come and shop in this building. The lack of adequate space affects everything from storage of food properly to providing a comfortable and welcoming experience of those that we serve. Looking ahead, we must acknowledge that this is not a sustainable situation. As we continue to expand our offering and serve more individuals and families in need, it becomes increasingly important to explore solutions that can relieve these space constrictions. Whether through expansion, relocation, or other creative approach, we must work together to find and ensure the food pantry has the resources and environment it needs to strive. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Trustee McGrath.
Just two details. The next 708 Mental Health Board meeting is October 21st. That is a change from the 28th, so the notices will go out. And at that meeting, the board will be reviewing grant applications for this year. And the other thing I just want to remark is that Milton Township has, here in this room, the Veterans Honor Wall, and there is a process for people to nominate Milton Township veterans to have their names placed on that wall, and so I think a goal would be to make sure the township puts out that information, publicizes it, makes it available so people know they can nominate someone to be listed there.
Thank you. Trustee Pitts?
Yes. I won't even try to come close to Paula's presentation. That was great. But I do want to mention we honored Chunk and Arnie tonight, and I've been attending the SALT meetings now as many as I can since elected, and just want to say that they have been very, very, very good, very informative. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of seniors coming, but we're hoping that through the newsletter maybe we can expand that. But the people that would come there seem to be very pleased, and the fact that they're going out in the community is doubly precious. I mean, I'm sure we've saved folks a lot of money on scams. Unfortunately, a lot of people are hit, and what Arnie's doing is informing people to look before they push a button, and I think it's very important.
Agreed. And Trustee Siemer?
I don't really have much. I think we're writing a lot less checks in between bank accounts than we were when I started. So I got one goal out of the way. We started to do journal entries, which is
That's two goals.
yeah, they're from the 50s, 1950s. The audits are proceeding as planned. That's about it.
Okay. Thank you. Assessor LeVan, I saw you earlier. If you've got a report for us.
I do.
I do have some paperwork I will move out to Nicole for this.
Thank you.
I included you. Mr. Clerk.
Okay, I won't go through this whole thing, but let's just refer to the back page, because that's the one everyone's really interested in. So our schedule for publication for assessment inquiries will be Friday, it's going to start Friday, October 24th. That'll start the 30-day period. That'll be published in the Glen, Ellyn, and Wheaton Suburban Life magazine. That newspaper. Now that paper is somewhat difficult to find at times, so we do have a file that if someone calls, we're happy to email it out to them, or if they want, they can come in, we'll print it out for them, and they can see all the changes that we made. The final day to file any assessment inquiries or appeals will be Monday, November 24th. So that'll be the cutoff for our 30 days. I would, to the board, if you get any assessment questions or inquiries, I would ask you to refer them to my office, as my deputies will be more than happy to take care of any questions and look into any assessment inquiries that may come up. That's all I have.
Thank you, Assessor LeVan. Highway Commissioner Drew.
Good evening. Thanks to everyone coming out today. Before I start my report, I want to comment on what Drew said on the highway department assisting with the cemetery and pulling the fence out. With our supervisor, our assessor, and the highway department are now working together the way a township should work. They're not three separate entities. The three entities that work together for one common goal, and that's to make this a better township for the citizens of the township. By a simple thing of pulling the fence out, it took my guys maybe 3 or 4 hours and probably saved several $1,000s to the cemetery fund to do so. It's not rocket surgery here, as George Bush would say. It's just a matter of coming and working together. It's not real complicated. So I'm proud of that fact that we are working together and striving to serve the community better. All right. With that being said, last month I was not here. I was finishing my CERT training, which I'm now an official CERT guy. And shut the sting on Saturday. I'll be out there flagging traffic and trying not to get run over. So it'll be my first official go. But I had Naresh, commonly known as Squared, did a report. He talked about GoGov. So for those of you that weren't here, GoGov is a system that we're implementing in the highway department for reporting issues that you may have in and around the township. There's going to be an app that will go live probably the end of this month, and that app can be installed on everybody's phone. What that will allow you to do is if you have a water issue, a tree down, you can go right on that app, click a button, and there'll be several different choices of things that you can report. A few of those I just mentioned, and there's several others on there. You click that button on the report, and you can even attach a picture, which everyone has one of these phones to take a picture with, of what you have, whatever's going on your property or in the parkway or in the street. What that's going to do will then send a ticket to myself and our admin, Casey, and then we can draft up a ticket to go out and do the work that'll immediately be sent to the crew, and then they can go out there and do the work. They'll have iPads in the trucks. We have 2 iPads for the 2 crews that we run, and they'll be able to, once the issue is solved, they'll take pictures of it. They'll put in that report that the issue's been solved, and that will immediately generate an email back to the homeowner that posted that issue. So they can see in real time when that is being fixed. So that's one of the things, and then we're also tying our bonds, our permit process into it. So if you're doing a driveway, a roof, an addition to your house, you're required to get a bond through the county and through us. You can now do that online or through this app. Currently, you can do it on our website, so you no longer have to do it in person. One thing I did change to the bond system is I am no longer accepting bonds from homeowners, okay? And some of you might think, well, why would you do that? Ran into an issue with a contractor that is not on the up and up, that does concrete driveways, and he notoriously has the homeowner get the bond. So the homeowner's posting $1,000 bond, and then he doesn't follow the rules for pouring the new driveway and doesn't call for the inspections, and the homeowner loses their bond. And that's not fair to the homeowner. The homeowner, first of all, should not be posting the bond. It should be the contractor posting the bond. So unless you can prove that you are doing the work yourself, you're no longer allowed to post a personal bond. It has to come from a contractor. So that's on the website currently, and it'll be part of this GoGov process as well. Another update, I talked earlier this year about Berry Street and the water issues they had. That project is on hold till the spring because it's taking me tons of time to work through the motor fuel tax money, which the county holds. The state requires all kinds of requirements to get that money, and that's the money I'm going to use to buy the materials for that project. So the homeowners, a letter will go out to that neighborhood telling them exactly what's going on and when that process is going to start in the spring. Another ball of wax I was handling, a can that's been kicked down the road, is National Street. National Street runs from County Farm, I think it's to Harriet. It's about 2 blocks off of Geneva to the north. It runs right along, I should say, the homeowners that are on the north side of National Street back up to Klein Creek Golf Course. The floodplain in Klein Creek collects a ton of water for the area, but there's one section that drops right down to Harriet Street, and there is a large 42-inch pipe that collects that water, runs it through the neighborhood, and then dumps it back into Klein Creek, basically alleviating the chance of them flooding from over ponds in Klein Creek. That pipe is completely shot and rotted out. The issue we have, it's not as simple as just replacing it like a culvert. Both ends sit behind tree lines, which now complicate things because it makes it wetlands and floodplain work. So I've hired V3, who's an engineering firm, but they're also very well polished in floodplain and wetland work to help me work through the permit process with the county and the state to be able to replace this pipe, which we theoretically should be able to do sometime in the spring. So I've started that process, and we are partnering with the county on this. They are gonna, they may have some grant money available, but also some resources that we can utilize in men and machinery. So that should hopefully lower some of the costs. We did receive our first grant, thanks to Jim Zay. We got a grant for communication headsets. We're getting 8 headsets. The grant was for $8,000. We've been approved for the grant. We have to purchase the headsets and then turn in the receipt for reimbursement. What that'll allow us to do is, when you see the guy up in the bucket truck trimming the trees and he's got to yell down to the guy, he no longer has to do that. We'll have headsets, and also they'll be able to communicate with each other on the ground when it comes to directing traffic. And anybody that's been in CERT knows how important that is. So, and then the last thing I have is one of the things I campaigned on was putting in place a system that evaluates the roads you live on and the conditions of those roads. And then from there, I can then put a 4 to 5 year plan in place for repair and replacement of those roads based on the worst roads first, right? So we hired a company called Violytics. Violytics is a nationally known company that gives us a platform in order to evaluate those roads. And what it does is they use iPhones. They give us 2 iPhones dedicated to their system, and we mount them in trucks. And when we drive on our roads, we open up the app, we click a button, and it starts recording. And what it does is it uses AI to record every inch of the road, every pothole, every crack, the curb lines. It does the signs, any sign that's blocked or doesn't look appropriate, it alerts us to these things. But really what it's for is to get an assessment of those roads. So we have started that process. We have about 75% of our roads already videotaped, if you will. And the beauty of this is we can do this anytime. It's unlimited. So whenever the 2 guys that have them in their trucks are out there, they just hit the button when they're driving around, and it reevaluates the road, even if you did it the week before. So in real time, also when they're out there, they can create a ticket for an issue. So if they see a pothole that needs immediate repair, they can click on that app and click a button, and it'll take a picture of that, and then it'll send a notification to myself and my foreman that we've got an issue here, needs immediate attention, we got to get it fixed. And in addition, it brings up the picture. And then in the office on our laptops, we can actually go down the road and see the entire video. But what it'll allow me to do is eventually post on our website the listing of all the roads and the condition that they're in. So you'll be able to tell what condition your road is in. Not that you probably don't already know if you're running through potholes, but this is an official, they use a nationwide measuring system or tool to measure the condition of the road. The other thing it'll allow me to do is there's an engineering component. So when I have roads that need to replace, and my predecessors have always replaced entire subdivisions at a time, right? Whether some of the roads in there were good or not, they just came in and did the whole entire subdivision. We don't necessarily have to do that. We can focus on the worst roads throughout the entire township and not do, an entire subdivision when half the roads may be in decent shape or usable for another 4 or 5 years. There's an engineering component to it that I can actually go in there and talk to some contractors, get pricing, and use that engineering component to build a cost analysis, what it's going to cost in current time to replace the roads that are in poor condition. And I can use that to put a 4-year budget in place and know exactly what roads we're going to do next and how much they're going to cost. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, we need our food pantry partner director, Dave. I don't even try your last name.
Yeah,
Sebstown.
So I've never seen this side of the podium. It's like a little bird nest here.
Yeah, I know what that is. I know so too.
Pretty cool. Did you do that? You're doing everything. How about the best use of AI ever?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, my kids are getting, well, I won't get into it, but that's great.
It is a good
AI.
use for
I'm glad
AI.
someone uses it. So, food pantry. Thanks to the board, we have these beautiful pumpkins that were donated. So thank you for your donation. There was a lot more in here. We passed out about 70 pumpkins. I think there's another 50 to go. So clients love stuff like that. Something that we may take for granted is just so important to them. Those are expensive. Those are like $30 pumpkins. Depending where you get them. It's crazy how much they've increased in price. And I'm talking to this is live. Thank you, Milton Township farmers and gardeners. It was a record year for produce. They brought in so much produce. It was beautiful. I don't know if you guys were using fertilizer, if the weather was perfect, but we had so much fresh produce for Milton Township. So thank you. That was amazing how you guys all stepped up and brought food to our pantry. We're working right now the pantry on holiday meals. We're trying to get turkeys and sides for Thanksgiving. We're working on toys. Debbie's doing most of the toy stuff, but I don't know if you've ever met Debbie. I could not do what I do without her, and she's just we usually give me the recognition, but she does just as much.
It's a team effort.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's really it for the pantry. Sorry I couldn't be here last week. I'm going to CERT with that.
We had agreed you were talking about CERT next month.
Oh, I'm talking about CERT next month, but congratulations to our new CERT member. So.
Thank you. And I did not skip this with that lightly. If we could have Chairman Chuck Smith with his final seniors and law enforcement together report. And if you go a few slides down, there's stuff about an auto inspection at the end.
Thank you so much for your kind words and support, Buffy and Larry Pitts. Really appreciate all your attendance at our meetings and support of everything going forward. Much appreciated. Our meeting this week, Tuesday, because of the holiday, we had 23 attend. We had Rita Brosnan from Senior Home Sharing. She had a great story to tell about the homes that they purchased and put a bunch of bedrooms in. Hopefully they got permits. But they do a great job by accommodating seniors that can't afford rents or certainly not purchasing a home. So they do a great job. They do counseling and support services. And what helps is you get the seniors together so they're not alone. You have someone to talk to, collaborate with, play cards with, be social, which is very important for longevity. It's really important. Next month, we have Sue Davison, who's a certified shift counselor. She's works for Glendale Senior Services. She is a go-to person for help with what do I pick for my Medicare plan. There's lots of phone calls everyone the seniors are getting. Sign up with us, and as Arnie had mentioned in our meeting, there's a lot of changes. So what we have a good one, as Arnie said, spoke a lot about that in our meeting. What may have been good for you, the best plan for this year may not be for next year, so it's important to check and see what's there. So she will be at the next meeting, and she does a great job, and she can be called. She is required by law to help anyone in the state of Illinois, actually. So she is limited on time, so you have to make a reservation. This meeting, absent was Larry Gage, who you saw a picture of here earlier. Larry Gage is one of the founding fathers of SALT, 98 years old, sharp as can be. Unfortunately, I got a call from his daughter last weekend saying that he was in Elmer's Hospital and he nearly died because of aneurysm in his leg. He's recuperating in Windsor Park. I went to see him late this afternoon, and he's still as sharp as ever. He said, I will be back. And he's now lighting up Windsor Park right now, which is great human. So anyone that knows Larry, the guy's amazing. He's done a lot for this community, for the county, particularly for the DuPage Care Center. Prior to COVID, 20 years, he worked for the courthouse with the brides and grooms, getting them in front of the judges promptly. And after COVID, until very recently, he works at the convalescent center and quality control before their projects go into killing. So he's a great guy, very super individual. It's taken a team to do what was done. Until 23 July, we had Jody Heffler from Ellyn. He's been at it long before he's done an amazing job. So very passionate of helping our seniors. It's very, very involved. He's a go-to guy, knowing who exactly to call. We unfortunately have seniors that have been defrauded. It's really sad. That's why we called to do a presentation at Windsor Park because of two seniors losing a whole lot of money to a Bitcoin scam. He did a great job a week and a half ago with Lombard at St. John's Lutheran Church. The Mary Martha Guild had asked for him to come in at an audience of about 50 people, 48 ladies and 2 gentlemen, besides us. And they were very focused on all of the great education he had. As he always does, he puts by himself, he puts a PowerPoint presentation with that and handed out copies to all of them. So I really thank Arnie for all this As a retired pharmacist, he was always a good one to educate our seniors about not getting those bad pills from China and from, off the internet for cheap. So he's done a good job in that respect.
Thank you, Joe.
Our last big event, which you alluded to, is the auto inspection. And right now I have 105 volunteers. I had 95 last year, and we have 1 hour between 8 and 9 to line everybody up. So we have our teams, and give a lot of thanks to my wife who's been working on all these team assignments, and I keep changing them because I got people adding and dropping. So we will be ready. I appreciate the board's participation in that. Should be a great event. As always, safety is our #1 priority. We have 19 CERT team members that have signed up. We appreciate their support to keep everyone safe outside. Unfortunately, they may have the toughest job because the weather's supposed to be very wet this Saturday. Like the post office, rains, snow, whatever, we will do it. Lightning, that's another story. I didn't want them out there with lightning, but we'll deal with whatever comes our way. I have a great police officer supporting us. Appreciate the board's financial support. I got to give a shout out to my wife for her help with this and all the events, and particularly probably the toughest thing we had to deal with from SALT in my tenure was during COVID. And you remember during that period, most of, if not all, of the food pantries were shut down in DuPage County. We had seniors calling the township wanting food. We set up volunteers to actually shop for the seniors. We'd call them, take their phone list, with our own money to my volunteers to buy their food, and then call up and say, this is what it costs, and we put it on their porch, and then they'd put a check or a envelope with the money, and it worked. That's before you had all the great pickups at Jewel and Mariano's and every place. They didn't have any of that back then. Seniors that couldn't get shots, we drove them to their appointments. I had daily conversations with she's not there right now, pardon, she just left, but scheduling and driving our the seniors for shots. And then lastly, my wife and her sister made 1,800 masks because you couldn't get masks. We were supplying masks to CDH. They couldn't get them. Edwards Hospital, our food pantry, People's Resource Center, pads. I was a delivery person. They were sewing her and her sister and making hospital gowns for Windsor Park. They needed those too. So hats off to great support. Lastly, I welcome retired Corporal Terry Albright, who I worked with for 8 years. One of my first tasks was dealing with a senior that got evicted from a condo in Ellyn, and not because he didn't pay, but because the unit was sold 2 years prior. So the first day of the eviction, I was contacted by the Sheriff's Department to help this gentleman after, and that's where I met Terry. She got the same assignment from the sheriff. So that's where I met Julian, and we worked with that gentleman for a month, and then we moved to King County. Terry's equivalent in King County. She got the job, so thank you for all the help, and she'll do a great job. She's very passionate about seniors, we collaborated a lot of times on things that were happening to seniors that needed help. Sometimes it's families that want treatment where the parents well, and she's very passionate about seniors. She'll do a great job.
Thank you, Chuck. All right. In our unfinished business, a short audit update. I alluded to it earlier. We have completed, many of you know, the FY24 audit, which was left to us. Our fiscal years end in March of every year. When we came into office, there were 2 years of audits open. That was closed in July by Lauterbach and Amann. The FY25 audit, which would have ended April 1st, we took office May 19th, is at a point where they will be making visits. So we've already pulled information, talked to them about our controls. I will note that we are on a State of Illinois Comptroller extension. Technically, your audit is due at the end of September annually. That was an impossible timeline given we closed a full year prior in July. They have given us an extension to the end of November. We will not make that. I expect this audit to finish hopefully in January. My understanding is that you may see some small fees that we owe Comptroller Mendoza as a result. Honestly, this was unavoidable given what we were handed. So those are progressing at the pace that they can progress. We also invited a firm called Sikich to do an investigational audit of 5 years. They have made their site visits as of this week. So they will soon be then testing and starting their investigative work. That timeline is far looser, and we'll just bring the results when we have the results. That's the audit update.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yes, you may.
We'll be doing an RFP here in the next month or so for the 26 audit.
That's a good point on audit. So we get to do this all again very soon. All right, thank you. And I really thank the members of the Finance Committee that we set up. So that includes Assessor LeVan, Trustee Siemer, Commissioner Drew. So we're all working hard on that. The other unfinished business item is Resolution 25-R-11. It's a resolution of Milton Township in support of Illinois' America 250 commemoration, which is the fun way to say America's, let me find it, it's not its sesquicentennial, it's a semi-quintennial. So America turns 250 next July 4th. 10 years ago, a commission was set up to celebrate this. Every community is being encouraged to do what they can. This resolution lists that we will work with local schools to do an interactive reading of the Declaration of Independence. Thank you, Trustee McGrath. We will also be partnering with the City of Wheaton and the Village of Glen Ellyn with their annual parades, doing a large float and some other things there. And we will look to do other work with local civic groups and nonprofit organizations. Finally, we're going to plant some trees in honor of America's 250, at very least with our cemetery commission, if not with some other groups. So I need a first on this motion to consider it.
I will.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? The townships of Illinois will be so excited they wanted us to pass this. All right.
Okay.
All those,
Yeah, so.
we have to do a roll call,
Yes,
don't we?
yes.
Because we're going to spend money. I just got whispered that. Thank you, Clerk Bailey.
Okay, all right, so in this case, roll call, vote Trustee McGrath,
Yes.
okay, Trustee McGowen,
Yes.
Trustee Siemer,
Yes.
Trustee Pitts,
Yes.
Supervisor Higgins-Beard.
Yes.
Okay, motion.
Thank you.
Motion's complete.
All right, motion's approved. On new business. Tonight we have a memorandum of understanding. It's between ourselves as the township and the Milton Township Food Pantry. I want to be really clear, and most of you know I have a background in nonprofit leadership. These are two separate entities, and we are looking as newly elected leaders to really have an action plan to be sure that we've strengthened the independence of the food pantry as a 501c3. We know that a township, a government office can run a 501c3, and we have been following all federal nonprofit law and state laws concerning that. But what we'd like to do is make sure that with the food pantry operating on its limited, very limited budget, that we have actually drawn out where the township is providing support to make that 501c3 operate, and also where the pantry stands on its own. To be very explicit, the pantry has a mission that's different than the township's mission. The pantry has funds; they are separate from the township's funds. The pantry exists very clearly with private funding, but we are providing space and people that help run it, and phone lines, and a page in the newsletter, and some other wonderful things. So this just makes explicit what that relationship is. This is the first time we've looked at this piece. I need a first from the group for consideration and a second.
So moved.
All right. Do we have any discussion?
Who seconded?
Larry, quietly. Any discussion from the group?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Just on page 2, section C, the township agrees to allocate limited communications and accountancy resources to the food pantry. Can you just explain a little bit more of what that means?
Sure, and I think it's listed elsewhere. At this point, our accountant does maintain the books. For 2 years ago was the $82,000 that was raised. We do, for efficiency, use the same audit firm. So the audit comes and does the township's books and also does the 501c3 and a 990. The other communications would be an occasional social media post mention in the newsletter. You're going to see the language shift that they are our partner, because this is the truth. This is a partnership between the government agency and the nonprofit entity. Any other discussion points?
Roll call vote when we get to it.
I love these roll call votes. I'm ready.
Okay, so, Trustee McGrath,
Yes.
Trustee McGowan,
Yes. Yes.
Trustee Siemer,
Yes.
Trustee Pitts,
Yes.
and Supervisor Higgins-Beard.
Yes.
Okay.
So for next steps for this will go in front of the Milton Township Food Pantry Board, which has recently adopted new bylaws and is reconstituting its board. Its board will no longer look exactly like this group. That's what the old bylaws said. The 4 trustees and the supervisor will run the food pantry. So we don't expect a response on this until that new board is seated, and then they can consider this, and they can do whatever they want. They can counter, they can sign, they can start discussions. Okay? All right. The last thing we have is a resolution number 2025 R-12, which is a resolution authorizing a vehicle title correction. We all know I've been looking through a lot of things, and this was the result of reading the titles to our vehicles. In 2024, the food pantry partner received $75,000, and that money was to be put towards a refrigerated E350 Ford Series refrigerated vehicle. And it was bought, and it's been used in driving around town for the food pantry consistently. Sadly, the title says it's the Milton Township's property instead of the Milton Township Food Pantry. Our pickup truck, which we've owned for a long time and happens to be worth practically nothing, is owned by the food pantry, so this was a mistake. And I'm bringing this before the board to ask for corrections so that the pantry holds title to its vehicle.
So does the food pantry have its own federal ID and tax ID and all?
It does.
Okay.
That's part of being a 501c3 and filing that 990 you helped me with. Yeah. All right, I need a first to consider.
So moved.
Larry?
Second.
Second from, okay. Do we have any discussion on this? It's pretty straightforward. This more or less will give me the right to go change the title with the executive director. How about a roll call vote?
Yes, how about it?
Okay.
Okay. Trustee McGrath,
Yes.
Trustee McGowan,
Yes.
Trustee Siemer,
Yes.
okay, Trustee Pitts,
Yes.
and Supervisor Higgins-Beard.
Aye, yes.
Okay,
All right. I would like to note that our next meeting is November 20th. However, the meeting after that, December 18th, will take place on the other side of the building. So you're welcome to join us, take a peek at the Christmas gifts, but there's no space in here during that time. And with that, I'll adjourn at 7:10.
Motion for that?
I do need a motion for that. Sorry, a first on that.
I'll motion.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Too busy. No discussion. All those in favor? Wonderful. Aye.
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 The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.